Ladies and gentlemen, I am the self-proclaimed Humanredzone, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. I've been watching football since I was a kid. I've been watching basketball since I was a kid. I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid. I'm very passionate about those three things, and I would like to bring that forth to you through analysis, fantasy advice for both sports. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. Big time Dallas Cowboys fan. When I was younger, about first grade, second grade, somewhere around there, that was when the Dallas Cowboys were at their peak. I mean, they were just knocking people out left and right. I remember going to my friend's house or my parents' friend's house for the Cowboys parties. I don't really remember the regular season as much as I do the playoffs and, of course, the Super Bowls. Who can forget the beatdown of the Buffalo Bills? They still suck to this day because of those beatdowns. Sorry, Bills Mafia. I love you guys, but you know, you can't go to the Super Bowl, what was it, 3-4 times in a row, Scott Norwood, and lose every time, and 2 out of 4 of them you just get absolutely demolished? Don't get me started. But this team has been with me since I was a kid, and I will always support them. But I always got some sort of issue with them, with how they run their team or their personnel, and I love saying this. I don't like Dak Prescott. I think, other than Blake Bortles, of course, he is the worst quarterback in the NFL. And he has no business being the quarterback of our team. I'll get more into that later. You will understand how much I can't stand Dak Prescott. Personally, I was a Romo fan. I loved Romo. Maybe when he first, back in maybe 2005, 2006, 2007, I don't really like him that much, but that's when he was throwing an interception, probably about maybe 2 or 3 a game, every game or every other game. He was blowing it. But towards the end of his career, before it was sadly, riddled and injury plagued, and when he just had to retire, I would say the last season and a half, maybe 2, he had finally figured it out. He knew not to throw off your back foot. He knew not to chuck it up in the air for an all-pro safety to pick it off. He knew not to run out of the pocket, run around in circles and take the sack. No, he had actually finally figured out how to play quarterback in the NFL, and it proves to be correct, because off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure the year we went 13-3 with DeMarco Murray, him and Dez, when they were all 3 balling, he threw 31 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Most people won't bring that up because they don't know that side of Romo. They only know the Romo that blew it, the Romo that cost us the playoff game, the Romo that threw interceptions, the Romo that got hurt, etc., etc., etc. This team right now, they do this to us every single year. They do this every single season. They take us up, and they bring us down, and then we skyrocket into the air, and then they just drop us and we fall 9.8 meters per second squared, flat on our face, every single year, year after year, as long as that redheaded ginger has been our coach. I don't like Jason Garrett either. You're going to learn about this. I can't stand Jason Garrett. He's got to go for a plethora of reasons that I will go over starting today. Thank God for our defense. Thank the Lord, baby Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, all 3 of them, the main prophets. Thank them so much that we have this all Madden type defense with Byron Jones. You know, you got a Jordan Lewis, you got Chido Uzie, 3 solid cornerbacks. And in the back you have Heath, which I don't really like Heath, but you got Xavier Woods, who's a 6th round talent coming. I mean, he's just bursting through the roof. On the linebacking court, you have the stud rookie Van Der Esch, everybody knows him. You have Jalen Smith, who's turning out to be one of the best 2nd round picks of all time. Wilson's there. And then you have the monsters up front, our defensive line, where it's just non-stop pressure and assault on the other team's quarterback, headlined by, of course, DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law. Randy Gregory, in my opinion, is getting it together. I feel like, and I want to go over this later, I'm going to go over it right now. Is it just me, or is Randy Gregory being targeted by either the NFL or the referees? Because the NFL, they always got something sly, some slick shit going on, judging with this whole Kaepernick thing going on. It just kind of seems like they're picking on Randy Gregory, calling penalties on him that they shouldn't be calling, embellishing the penalties on him, trying to embarrass him. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Anyways, our defensive line is monster. Our entire defense is monster. I've been telling everybody that will listen that Byron Jones is the best cornerback in the NFL, and Byron Jones is the best cornerback in the NFL. I don't want to hear it. You know how I know? You don't ever hear his name. Our offensive line is good. A lot of credit needs to go to Mark Colombo. A lot of people, including that loudmouth Stephen A. Smith, who I can't stand. He's okay, but I can't stand him. He proclaimed that Jerry Jones likes to bring in his own, to have picnics on Sunday afternoons, Saturday night dinners, blah, blah, blah. Which, he kind of has a point. But Mark Colombo taking over the offensive line has been, it's been a night and day difference. Our wide receiver core is coming up because of the trade by Amari Cooper. And I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong about the Amari Cooper trade. When I first heard the news, much like many of you, I was like, what the fuck, a 1st round pick? Why would we pick a 1st round pick for Amari Cooper? The hell has he done in Oakland? He hasn't done shit the past 2 seasons. What the fuck are we going to do with him? I'd rather use that 1st round pick on a defensive player, maybe get a nice little backup, not a backup, but get another lineman, to bolster up the offensive line. Maybe a tight end, since we have 5 tight ends and all of them suck. But no, they got Amari Cooper, and it's worked out a lot better than I thought. I was wrong about that one. I'm not wrong a lot, and you're going to learn that. But I was wrong about that. Cole Beasley's doing his thing. Michael Gallup. If there's one person on this planet that hates Dak Prescott more than I do, it's got to be Michael Gallup. We're talking about 2 bombs that should have been ran in for touchdowns. He should have been just Deion Sandersing all over that place, but Dak missed him because Dak can't throw the ball past 20 yards. Michael Gallup should be a household name right now based on the past 2 weeks, but of course Dak had to ruin it. The two only weak links personnel-wise on this team are Dak Prescott and the tight end position. We have 5 tight ends. None of them are doing anything. We got, I don't even know, there's Swaim, which I think he's hurt, but I think he just came back. Rico Gathers, who they thought he was going to be a somebody. I was telling everybody that would listen, who the hell is Rico Gathers? What has he done? He's a basketball player? Or you think you found the next Gates? Antonio Gates is a Hall of Famer. You can't just find somebody like that. I don't even remember the other tight ends. Who cares? This team is built around one player, and you all know who that player is. 21. He's electric. He's powerful. He's got spirit, and he's got that hunger. And I guess that is kind of a pun because, we all know he likes to eat, but he's very deceitful in the way he plays. Anytime you think that he's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage, he falls over for another 2 to 3 yards. He goes for that 6 or 7 yard run. He gets hit. He falls forward. He falls forward every single time. Pay attention to that, and that counts. That counts in this league where you only need 10 yards to get a first down. If your running back can get you on first down, let's say, 2 yards based on what the offensive line gives him, and then another 2 yards when he falls forward, that's 2nd and 6, open playbook. But something's off about this team, and it's Dak Prescott. And over time, you will learn that I can't stand him. And I will be showing game footage. I will be going over game footage, and I will be pinpointing exact plays where it goes from Dak is playing okay. He hasn't played phenomenal since his rookie season, and even then that was based on the guy that was right behind him. To me, Dak has a problem. He's got multiple problems, but his main problem is that he just collapses under pressure. And I'm not talking about one single play. I'm talking about the moment one thing or one play goes wrong, the moment he gets sacked that first time, something bad's going to happen either the next play or the play after that. Something bad's going to happen to him. I can't tell you how many times I've been watching the games for this season and last season in particular where he says hike, he takes his 3, 5, 7 step drop, whatever he does. The pocket collapses completely around him, and he either goes down and takes the sack, or he throws the ball off his back foot and it gets intercepted because he does not have a strong arm anyway. What are you doing? Pay attention. Pay attention to this. It happens almost every game. It happened this last game against the Eagles. He got sacked. The next play, he threw an interception. What the fuck? I can understand maybe, 1, 2 games a season, 3 games if you're going to be an elite quarterback. Tom Brady doesn't do that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that. Drew Brees, all those guys, they don't do that. I wouldn't really say Jared Goff is elite quite yet, but those guys, they don't do that. They just don't. Matthew Stafford will throw off his back foot because he's got a rocket launcher on his arm. Everybody's favorite Jay Cutler used to throw off his back leg, but he also had a rocket arm. But when you're Dak and you got these little balls, that inaccurate balls that get thrown around, you can't be doing that. The guy crumbles under pressure. He does. And he has to rely on his teammates to pick him up every single time. You are the quarterback. Your job is to make everybody around you better. Not the other way around. And that's the problem with this team. That's why we are consistently 8-8. That's why we will finish 8-8 this season. It's just not the way the coaches game plan or have been game planning is not the right way that Dak needs to be used. Let me correct myself. Maybe the past 2 or 3 weeks, ever since I don't remember the game after Tennessee. Who was that? Whoever played after Tennessee. Tennessee was I can't believe we lost that bad. That was the most ridiculous game I think I've ever seen in my entire life. How the hell did we lose to Tennessee that bad? And Tennessee is like this mediocre to bottom dwelling team that's getting blown out by other teams in the league. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I will give the coaching staff and Dak some credit that they have much improved the game plan since earlier this season when they tried to turn him into Dak Manning. We got Dak Montana, Dak Aikman is just not going to happen. Why would you do that? Why are you trying to turn Dak Prescott, whose his thighs are like the size of my body, why are you trying to turn him into a pocket passer? Doesn't make sense to me. You have to use the player wisely. The players have a particular set of skills. Every player has a particular set of skills. Not every player in the NFL can do it all. They can't, Even Tom Brady. He's been in the league 20 years. He just now rushed for, 1,000 yards for over 20. Don't get me started. This team, this team, December 11th, 2018, the team that we have now, the quarterback we have now, the offensive line and the wide receivers and that star-studded running back that we got back there, this team is designed to run the ball down their throats. Everybody knows that. The problem comes from the guys upstairs, the guys on the sidelines who cannot game plan to save their lives. And even if they do by a miraculous, by like a gift by the angels being put down on us a particular Sunday every once in a while, they do have the right game plan, great. But when they don't, no adjustment, no halftime talk, no halftime adjustments. Okay, hey, they're ramming the ball down our throats. What should we do? Oh, we should make this adjustment. You know what? Running the ball with Zeke is not working. What are we gonna do? Well, just call some curls. Throw it to the tight end. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. They don't do that. They run the ball first down. If it doesn't work, they run it again. If that doesn't work, they run the ball on first down, and then they call a 3-yard pass to Cole Beasley. That doesn't even work anymore because Cole Beasley is being covered by the best cornerback on the opposing player's team, on the opposing team. I can't speak. This is my first time to do this. You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm a little nervous. I don't understand why it's like pulling teeth for these fucking coaches for this particular team. It's not hard to call plays for Dak and for Zeke. You give the ball to Zeke 60% of the time and just let him do what he does. What's the worst that can happen? He's going to get you 3 yards every single time. But these guys, what do they want to do? They want to put Dak and shotgun on first down. And then he just gets mauled. And all of a sudden, instead of 2nd and 7 or 2nd and 6, we're at 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14. And then, holy shit. Dak Prescott at 2nd and 14 is a fucking nightmare. It's a blueprint for a disaster that's about to happen, and you can't deny that. All you got to do is go back and watch the footage. This guy cannot handle pressure. The minute he hikes the ball and starts taking his steps, the defensive line is already there, and they know he's going to do something stupid because he does. How many times have we been in the red zone and he throws an interception? 3 times I can think off the top of my head immediately. How many times has he thrown off his back foot into the arms of the defender, and they don't even know what the fuck. They're like, are you serious? This is right here? This is for me? How many times is he going to fumble? For as big as he is, for as strong as he is, he can't grip the ball? Come on, man. We'll see what happens. We're on a hot streak right now. Everyone's excited, but I love this defense. I love this defense so much. This is the best defense we've had in at least 10 years. At least 10 years. If Romo had this defense, we could potentially be undefeated. And I'm not just exaggerating. We would be a 0, 1, or 2 loss team easily with Romo. Easily. I love this team. I'm not going to give up on this team. I've given up on Dak. If we win, it's going to be in spite of Dak. It's not going to be because of him. But something just tells me that we're going to win another game. We're going to lose a game. We're going to win. We're probably going to win the last game. And then come playoff time, these coaches are going to completely ignore what got us there, which is what? Giving the ball to Zeke, play action passes, slants, little 10 to 12 yard passes to Amari Cooper. That's it. Because Dak cannot throw the deep ball to save his life. Think about it. Think about it. When is the last time you saw Dak throw the ball down the field? He doesn't. Either he throws it or he throws and the ball is 5 feet that way, or it's 5 feet up there, or it's at their feet and they can't catch it. Earlier on this season, 2018 season, all the wide receivers were complaining about it. Allen Hurns, who he disappeared, they shut his ass up real quick. When's the last time you heard Allen Hurns? I think I heard his name once last game, and that's because he fucked up. This team needs to rely on two things: Zeke and the defense. That is the formula for this particular team, for this Dak Prescott-led team, is Zeke and defense. Stop putting the ball in Dak's hands. Stop calling passes on first down. Stop calling passes on second down. Stop calling a draw every single time you need 1 or 2 yards, especially at the goal line. How many times are you going to call these same fucking plays over and over and over? Yeah, they worked the first time, Jason Garrett. They worked the second time, Jason Garrett. What we're going to do is, we're just going to evaluate. We've been evaluating this play. We evaluate, and then guess what? The third time you do it, it doesn't work. Dak gets stuck. You don't need to do that. You need to exhibit some creativity in your play calling. Linehan, Garrett. Creativity. Why are coaches like Bill Belichick and Andy Reid's been doing this since I was a kid? Look at the Kansas City. They're one of the best offenses in the NFL. They're revered as one of the most creative, and he's been doing this for almost as long as I've been alive. Maybe not that long, but you get my point. Be creative. Give the ball to Zeke on third down. It's okay to give the ball to Zeke on third down. Call a draw play. You never know what's going to happen. Why does it have to be run, pass, pass every single time? Why? For what? Defenses have figured it out. And what the sad part is, what makes me so pessimistic about this, and what pisses me off, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says, I'm number one Dak hater. They're going to figure out what we've been doing for the past few games as well. Against Philadelphia, they're going to figure him out. Washington's a wash. They don't have anybody. Butt fumbles their quarterback. Colt McCoy, okay, cool. Butt fumbles their quarterback. That Washington game doesn't count. New Orleans, woo, the Saints. I love that game. That was the best defensive game I think I've seen out of the Cowboys in the last 10 years. Bar none, and that's with the teams that had Mike Zimmer, with Dexter Coakley and Dat Wynn and all those guys, Darren Woodson. You guys remember all those guys. This is the best defense we've had, and that was one of the best defensive performances in the regular season of all time. Of all time. The problem is the offense. It's predictable. What works only works for a little bit until the opposing team figures it out, which is not hard. All you got to do is put the ball in Dak's hands, and you got to put him under pressure, and he's going to cave. He's going to shoot himself in the foot. Who do we play? Who do we play on Sunday? I forgot who we play. who we play, but I got a bad feeling about this next game. I have a bad feeling about it because as a Cowboys fan, for the past however many years, we have been programmed for this. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Either the next game, week 17 doesn't count because, unless it comes down to like a divisional game where we have to win, or it's a wild card game. Week 17 games really don't matter much in the NFL because everything's already figured out. It may matter to maybe like 5 or 6, maybe 7 teams, but that's pretty much it. But come playoff time, if we make the playoffs, which we should make the playoffs, who knows if we will or not. We should, but then we should have gone to the Super Bowl 3 years ago when we had the big three with Romo, Dez, and DeMarco Murray. There's a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda with this team every single fucking season. But with this quarterback, I don't see it happening. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna try my best to. I am the Humanredzone, and so what I want to do to create content is on Sundays I watch the Red Zone. I have my own TV service company, which I will include in the description. Every channel for $35 a month. You heard it right. Every channel for $35 a month. You have your NFL Sunday Ticket, you have your NBA League Pass, you have your NHL Pass, you have your MLB Pass, you have HBO, Showtime, you have Discovery, you have History, you have ESPN, you have news channels, Fox News, whoever the fuck watches Fox News. I kind of watch Fox News sometimes. Just to get that side. You gotta watch all of them. They're all full of shit anyway, but you gotta watch all and then decipher for yourself. You don't want to be like one of those idiots that just is a diehard CNN fan or a diehard Fox News fan. Fuck those people. I lost my train of thought. I want to watch the Red Zone, take notes, and kind of combine fantasy with real life football. I know the fantasy season's coming to an end. That's probably something I'm going to focus on next season, try to figure it out. But for now, I want to watch the Red Zone and I want to critique the plays. And with the exception of the Cowboys games, I'm going to watch every single Dallas Cowboys games, and I will be here after the game sometime to offer a review of the game, point out some things that I did like, point out some things that I didn't like, etc., etc., etc. Basketball, I'm a huge basketball fan. I love basketball. In some strange way, like maybe about 95% of the population isn't like this, but I actually prefer basketball over football. I just love the sport, man. Basketball to me it's unlike any other sport there is. You have to, the athleticism that's involved, the angles that are involved with the game. It's not like anything else that we've seen. I want to cover the Mavericks, but I also want to cover the games that are on TNT. The primetime games. Your Lakers, your Warriors games, your Blazers games, your Toronto Raptors, your 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, the San Antonio Spurs. I hate the Spurs. I hate the San Antonio Spurs so much. They're my least favorite team. I got a lot of respect for Pop. I like Pop. I used to hate Pop, but now I like him. He's grown on me big time as I've grown up, as I've matured into a man. But I can't wait till he retires. He's been so goddamn good. I just can't wait for him to retire. And it's sad. It's sad because, like I said, I do like Greg Popovich, but it's sad to see how the San Antonio Spurs are playing right now. And I know he's had some issues with his family that I don't really want to get into because it's just a very sad situation. And I'm very empathetic towards the man for what he's been through. And the whole Kawhi Leonard fiasco last season, then he lost Ginobili, and then he lost Tony Park. It's kind of a lot for one person to take. But I do want to be here to review basketball, and I'm much more animated than this. I've got really nothing to talk about as far as, a game that maybe just ended where you're a little bit more hyped up, where the juices are flowing. It's going to be a little bit different once this all gets going. Wrestling, I also love wrestling. My girlfriend thinks I'm the biggest fucking loser on the planet, and I have to agree with her. When it comes to wrestling, I am the biggest fucking loser on the planet. I love wrestling. I don't know if you watch wrestling right now, but it's downright. It's just the worst. The worst show on television right now is WWE Raw. It's the worst show on television. It's embarrassing. It doesn't make any sense. It's boring. It's long. The characters nobody cares about the characters. Back in the day, it was you had Stone Cold Steve Austin. Who didn't love Stone Cold? You had The Rock. You had Triple H. You had The Undertaker. You had Mankind. You had DX. You had X-Pac. The list goes on and on and on. Steve Blackman, who didn't really talk, but Ken Shamrock, Kane. I mean, the Attitude Era was phenomenal. Val Venus, Val Penis is what we used to call him. I grew up on that, and my fondest memories were, I had a TV not in my room, but we had turned one of the bedrooms, tiny little bedrooms, into a game room, and it had a TV in there, and we had the little brown little illegal cable box up top, no remote. It just was a little button. You'd have to push button for volume. You'd have to push button to turn it on. You had the button for the channel up, channel down. And my mother hated it. My dad didn't care. My dad was like, whatever. He was just busy watching basketball himself. But my mom hated wrestling, and rightfully so. My mother. I'm Iranian, and so you have an Iranian mother who is not going to be too thrilled to watch. To know that her 10, 11, 12-year-old son is watching a bra and panties match on Monday night at 9 o'clock, I mean, who didn't like those bra and panties matches? Now, no. Now, I'm glad they're not there. The women's wrestling is way, 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 way above that. But when you're a preteen, come on. Wrestling right now, I'm gonna give a pass to SmackDown. SmackDown's okay. It could be a lot better. It's getting better because Fox Sports is rumored to be buying, or not buying it, but to be purchasing the rights to televise SmackDown. And I know that they want to have it's Fox Sports, so they want to have a more sports oriented show. They don't want the drama and the cheesy storylines. They don't want that. They don't want any of that. They want they want a show. They want a wrestling show where they're actually wrestling. High flyers, big moves off the top rope, holds. They want stuff like that. They don't necessarily want the backstage drama and all that comes with Monday Night Raw, which is one of the worst shows ever. And also, a lot of people don't know about this, but NXT. When I first found out about NXT, I didn't really know what it was. I kind of knew that it was like a developmental league for Raw and SmackDown. It's not a developmental league at all. Those guys at NXT's are night and day better than the ones on Raw and SmackDown. The wrestlers have nothing to do with it. It's all corporate management that is holding all of them down. But NXT, I don't know if you guys know about NXT, but NXT is where it's at. it's run by Triple H. The business side is run by Triple H, and the wrestling side is run by Shawn Michaels, who is, in my opinion, the best wrestler of all time. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, the Heartbreak Kid. I've loved him ever since he was with the Rockers, you know? Even when he was the bad Shawn Michaels, I loved him. Even when he went away, I loved him. Even when he lost his smile, I loved him. When he was chopping with DX, I loved him. When he was by himself, I loved him. When he was a face, I loved him. When he was a heel, I loved him. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. He's coincidentally the best wrestler of all time. He's in charge of the wrestling, and it's a completely different show than Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown are, Raw is absolute, pure, hot, stinking garbage. Okay? SmackDown is somewhere in the middle, but more towards the garbage side. They're getting better, I will say. But NXT is the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? That's where all the best drama is. That's where the best storytelling is, and that is downright where the best wrestling is. Because where Vince McMahon, who runs WWE, Raw and SmackDown, will not let the wrestlers go. He will not let them fully engage. He will not allow them to fully show off their skills. NXT is the complete opposite. They don't hold anybody back. They let the NXT wrestlers do whatever they need to do in the ring to put on a good show. But yeah, I like wrestling. You know, I used to, up until like right now, actually, I would be embarrassed. Even my girlfriend talks so much shit about wrestling all the time. She calls me a loser. She's like, I can't believe you're watching this shit. And on Monday nights, I 100% agree with her. On Tuesday nights, I tell her to settle down. And then on Wednesday nights, I just completely just mute her, and I turn the television all the way up because it's NXT. You know, 5 times a year, NXT, they put on a what's called NXT Takeover, and it's their version of pay-per-views. And these shows are the best wrestling shows on the planet, 5 times a year, and they're matched up with the 5 big pay-per-views from WWE. There's one at the Royal Rumble. There's one at WrestleMania. There's one at SummerSlam. There's one at Money in the Bank. And then there's one at Survivor Series. And these NXT shows are absolutely phenomenal. From the wrestling, to the production, to the storytelling, to how these feuds all come to an end at these takeover shows. It's perfection. It really is perfection. You know, you're at the edge of your seat watching these shows. People that would normally talk shit about you about wrestling are watching it with you, and their jaws are on the ground. You know, their mouths are open because they can't believe what they're watching. Night and day difference between Raw and SmackDown and NXT. Raw and SmackDown, NXT. So I will be reviewing those. I don't really get to watch them as much as I would like to, especially with football season. You know, I watch Monday Night Football, and I'm going to be watching Monday Night Football, and I'm going to be reviewing Monday Night Football, whoever plays. But you know, NXT is where it's at. We're gonna do a little bit of everything here. We're gonna do a little bit of everything here. One of my mentors, I don't really have a mentor, but I guess if I had to choose, would be Gary V. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, Gary Vaynerchuk. You can follow him on Instagram, Gary V. He's a very inspirational guy. He inspired me to do this. I love football. I love basketball. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I love the Dallas Mavericks. I have like 5 Dallas Mavericks shirts and beanies right inside my closet here. I love wrestling, and I also love to cook. I'll be showing you guys some cooking videos later on too. This is just an introduction. We have a long way to go. This is the beginning of something special. Fellow podcasters, I look forward to working with you guys. There's one podcaster who actually inspired me to do this as well. His name is JD from New York 206, JD from NY 206. Subscribe to him. He is phenomenal. He's a wrestling YouTube podcaster. If you're into wrestling, you need to go follow this guy for sure. My name is Saeed. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button first. You don't necessarily have to subscribe yet, but please hit that like. Put me on the map. Leave a comment. I will respond. I don't have any subscribers, 0, so I will definitely be responding. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the Cowboys. Tell me what you think about Dak. Tell me what you think about our defense. Tell me what you think about the Mavericks. Tell me what you think about Luka. We're going to talk about Luka Doncic. We're going to talk about Luka Doncic. Doncic or Doncic? Whatever his last name is. I apologize. But we're going to talk about him plenty because that guy, mark my words, he will be, just like I told people that Byron Jones is the best cornerback in the NFL, mark my words, Luka Doncic will be the best player in the NBA 3, 4, 5 years. Maximum 5 years. Maximum 5 years. Have a good night, people. I'll see you soon.